This was the first time Aaron Rodgers experienced a family. Man, maybe he should just go see his own. He's bragging about that dinner so much. Go to the Ciudad. Go see your family. They love you.
Yeah. If you can stand hanging out with Pete Holmes for a couple hours, you can stand anything.
That's true.
Well, we're going to have to stand hanging with Pete Holmes for a couple minutes because I had to split this up because Pete's obnoxious. But here's more from Mr. Discount Double Check.
We saw something in the sky. And
how big?
The only way to kind of make it so people can get a visual of kind of what it looked like was, if you've seen the movie Independence Day, which is a great movie,
sure.
And they're coming out with another one.
Are they?
Yeah. According to Goldblum, I just saw him. He's been a personal favorite of mine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just Memorial Day.
Side note, I love Wes Anderson films.
Yeah. I love Wes Anderson films, too.
So in The Night Skies.
Are you pro Fox? Some people don't like Fox.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, I don't like Fox. Oh, Night Sky.
What? Pro Fox what?
Fantastic Mister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck you.
There's politics. I thought we were going down a different direction there.
Is there a guy named Fox?
No, there's Fox News. Or I don't know where
sure.
You're going with that.
Yeah,
I didn't know if there was some.
There's nothing fantastic about Fox News.
Thank you. Okay, we're in agreement there. Yeah, so we went outside. We saw.
But it looked like Independence Day.
Yeah, when the plane is it looks like commercial jets kind of flying, or maybe it's a military jet, and they're kind of trying to figure out what's coming through the clouds, and you see like just kind of a fiery movement of cloud, I guess, coming through the sky, and then the plane eventually runs into the spaceship, which is coming in orbit. It was like that in a sense of that it was a large orange left to right moving object.
Whoa.
And
it wasn't triangular. It was more like a messy shape.
Because of the overcast nature of the night and the snow, you couldn't make out. It was behind kind of the clouds we were seeing, but it was definitively large in the night sky, moving from left to right. Again, we're at like 12:30 at night here.
Yeah.
It was me and Steve and his brother that saw it, and it goes out of sight, and we look at each other and go, what in the fuck was that?
Holy shit.
Whoa, it's like hearing your dad curse. Aaron Rodgers said, fuck. So,
all I can
this
think
clip...
about is how does Pete Holmes have a career?
It's
so annoying.
And look, yeah, I just had to say it was kind of nice that he could do this on that show and kind of like a lesser known podcaster, get his name out there, get a big guest like Aaron Rodgers. When he said, "Are you pro Fox? Fantastic Mister." How the fuck?
Aaron Rodgers got mad when he said that. It sounded like he was going to punch him.
I wish he had.
If Aaron Rodgers got this info, if Aaron Rodgers has this info, why the fuck are you telling Pete Holmes? He saw the show's name as You Made It Weird, and he's like, I got to think of some weird things to talk about. It's not. It's not that kind of show. So, what do y'all think about Aaron Rodgers, Sports Lords?
I love it. I love that Aaron Rodgers and Baron Davis are seeing aliens and are cool talking about it. I kind of am for that, and I wish more would come out and speak on it.
Yeah. I agree. I want to see these Jersey aliens that he's talking about too. We're not that far.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Hey, I'm a freaking alien here.
I'm freaking flying away.
So Aaron Rodgers talked a little bit. This was like while he was during his rookie year. He was during a taping of Cold Pizza, which went on to become a different show. So the sports world was set ablaze by this. Let's hear the reaction from what Cold Pizza became First Take with Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. And take note before you fucking hit the clip that the bad man is Aaron Rodgers. They call him the bad man. Let's hear it.
The bad man has some really weird stuff going on occasionally because he can be a really weird dude. So he's on a really weird podcast called You Made It Weird. And he goes into a story that happened to him, he says, back in college, in which he and a fellow quarterback were visiting the fellow quarterback's hometown in New Jersey, and that he and the fellow quarterback and the quarterback's brother saw a UFO streaking across the sky, and they heard the siren going off at a nearby nuclear plant, which signaled to them that it was, in fact, a UFO. And my question is it possible that any of the three of them were in any kind of altered state on that night?
Yeah, that's my question. Was everyone sober?
I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because I'm not sure about it, and I'm hoping you can explain the bad man to me, why he even did the weird podcast.
I'm not going to try to explain it to you because I don't find it to be weird. The fact of the matter is that this is a big, big universe. Earth ain't the only place that exists. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Oh, really? You see things too?
You think we're the only creatures on the universe?
I do.
The only creatures in the universe?
I do. I absolutely do.
You don't?
That's ignorant.
Have you seen UFOs?
Is this really happening? You believe in aliens and things like that, Stephen A? And people on other planets?
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Excuse me. We sent people to the moon. We sent men on Mars. And
so there's just
we can talk
people.
about. You think we're the only people that
didn't find any other people there that I know of.
Right now? You need to go on You Made It Weird.
I said creatures. He didn't say anything about other people. He didn't say anything about other people.
He said creatures? Wow.
He said creatures?
Wow. Hey guys, I just want to say, like, you just made me like Stephen A. Smith, like, for the first time ever, I think.
Yeah, same here. I mean, just doing this, I think Stephen A. Smith has to he's going to be our guy. But he does say we sent men to Mars, which maybe he knows some shit we don't.
You think we're the only people in the universe?
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, that way surpassed my expectations of a conversation between Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith.
I don't think there's any such thing as aliens.
And at one point, Skip Bayless says, "The bad man made it weird." It's like, what the fuck world is this? And and also I'm gonna say it again. It's kind of nice for an up and coming comedian to get a plug on a big show. Congratulations, Pete Holmes. You deserve all that recognition in that show and everything. And oh my God,
Mr. Peter Holmes deserves every good thing that happens to him in this world.
All right, sorry. It's just, I'd rather listen to Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith fight about the bad man making it weird than actually hear Pete Holmes again ever on this podcast. He's going to have to be retired. And, all these major sports, they've got a lot of weirdness going on, but we got to go to something we can trust. And we are so happy to have, just for this segment, popping in, Drea Mora in California is here. Hello, Drea.
Hello. Sorry about that. Some scheduling conflicts, something like that. I'm here now.
Well, I'm glad.
That's showbiz, baby.
Hey, man, you got something to get used to.
So we're happy to have you here. Now, we are about to talk wrestling. So I am about to make like the WWE crowd in Lafayette that I was a part of a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to be really quiet, and I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, and you know how to do things. That's exactly how you're supposed to be in the crowd when you get to WWE. You be respectful, you be quiet. It's like the opera. So, now that you're used to it, we're gonna get this going, because I'm glad I finally was able to make it in here. I was really looking forward to this episode, you guys. I love sports. But I like sports entertainment just a little bit more. I know you guys really do also. I don't know why. Yeah, it's called sports entertainment because I guess regular sports don't really count as that. But so I was looking forward to doing a little segment on Chris Jericho because he just recently did a special on Travel Channel during Ghost-tober last Halloween. And it was called Hunting Monsters. And he was going to be, hunting the Rougarou and the Honey Island monster and voodoo priestesses. Can't find it anywhere. If anybody knows where to find it, I was trying to rent it or buy it or anything, but couldn't find it. So what I found instead was a video of him on you guys know he has that podcast, right, called Talk is Jericho?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. He talks all about all of the same shit that we do. He's all over the place. And one of the people he had talked to, they have their own show called 30 Odd Minutes, and he was a guest on there with Jeff Belanger. And if any of you guys don't know who Chris Jericho is, I'm just going to let these gentlemen introduce him in this next clip.
You probably don't think of tonight's guest as a paranormal expert, but he has a passion for lake monsters. And tonight, he's ready to tell the world. Our guest is an actor, professional wrestler, musician, media personality, and best-selling author. He was the undisputed WWE champion in 2001. He's the lead singer of the internationally successful rock band Fozzy, the host of the popular podcast Talk is Jericho. That's where I met him. And the author of the New York Times best-selling books, A Lion's Tale, Around the World in Spandex, Undisputed, and The Best in the World at What? I have no idea. Great title. You may remember him as the host of the ABC game show Downfall, and in 2011, he competed on Dancing with the Stars. Please welcome, beaming to us live from Florida, Chris Jericho.
Hey, Chris, thanks for coming. Wow, that was quite the introduction, Jeff. Can you just follow me around everywhere and say that wherever I go?
You know, I was thinking about this, Chris. If that introduction was for 5 different people, it would be impressive.
Yeah.
The fact that it's for one is really something. So, you know, what is it that you don't do? And tonight, we're here to not talk about any of that stuff. We're here to talk about the paranormal. How does a guy with that background get into this?
Well, probably the same way that anybody does. I've just always been kind of really... my imagination has been captured by all those things that you talk about, from, you know, lake monsters to Bigfoot to UFOs to demons and ghosts and all that sort of thing. And it boils back to what you said earlier in the show, where if there's, you know, the earth is covered by 70% water and there's 90% of the living species in that water, we'd be pretty egotistical to think that there was nothing in there that we didn't know about. Same thing with, you know, UFOs. I mean, we live in a one planet in a galaxy of millions. To think we're the only living species is pretty, like I said, pretty egotistical. So I've always had an open mind about all of these things, but I've always had a passion and a real belief in lake monsters for whatever reason. It's just always just kind of really struck my imagination.
I think that reason might have something to do with your upbringing, right? You grew up in Canada, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Canada, and I used to go visit my grandparents every summer. They lived in Kelowna, BC, which is right on the Okanagan Lake, where apparently Ogopogo lives. But I used to go fishing with my grandfather, and I remember vividly that he would one time in particular, he had bologna, and he'd throw bologna into the lake. We'd be right in the middle of the lake, and I was already terrified as it was to be out there. And he'd throw the bologna in the lake and say, "This is Ogopogo's favorite treat. Ogopogo, where are you? Where are you?" And I just knew that the Ogopogo would rise from the depths, snatch my grandfather out of the boat, take him down, eat him, and then come for me next. And I remember being at the bottom of the boat just screaming like, stop it, please, please. So maybe that kind of warped me psychologically for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it made me want to wear light-up jackets and...
dude, that warped him. I think that's what made him want to wrestle, so he could protect his grandpa a little bit from Ogopogo, which I had never heard of. I don't know. Have you guys heard of Ogopogo before?
No,
I guess not. Yeah. Yeah.
He loves bologna. And grandfathers.
That's what I've heard.
I just love Jericho's passion.
Sounds a lot like Jimmy. Am I
right? Bologna and grandpas. So sue me.
So similar.
He's terrified of
Sunday afternoon to me. He's grandpa's
terrified.
And sandwich.
He's terrified of computers all shutting down in the year 2000, and that's why.
Y2J, baby. I think he was actually going to embrace it. He wanted that to collapse, so everybody would have to turn to him for entertainment. Makes sense to me. But during all of that, you know, he was warped psychologically, apparently, but that didn't send him away from the paranormal. Instead, he embraces it. Like you said earlier, he loves the idea of like monsters and everything. And he's got a little bit of that same Frangie logic going on, I think, which kind of shows in the next clip, too, about how he views what the definition of paranormal and monsters.
There is something that people have seen that's out of the ordinary, and that's good enough for me. And people say, well, it's a 25-foot sturgeon. Hey, listen, that's a monster.
Yeah.
25-foot fish, that's a monster, man. I don't want to be swimming in the lake and have that thing swim up next to me. So that counts.
Yeah, man, that counts. It's on the list. It's on the list. I know, I want to be on the list too, but I'm just, you know, he has a point that a lot of people are quick to dismiss all of this shit as nonsense and everything. And what the difference, what is it? Okay, so paranormal is supposed to be outside of what's considered normal, But if there's like these things underneath the ocean